ever opened your closet to grab a shirt and ended up staring at 5 old wallets, a birthday gift bag from 3 months ago, and a pair of toddler shoes your kid hasn't worn in a year? You're not messy. You're just holding on to way more than you realize. In today's video, we're going to go through 99 small but stubborn items hiding all around your home, in your bedroom, your kitchen, your car, even inside your purse. They're things that no longer serve you, but you're still spending time folding them, wiping them down, stepping over them, or keeping them just in case. So tell me, what's one weird little thing you know you should probably toss but haven't yet? Drop it in the comments and let's see if it made the list. Okay, I'm starting with my closet, because honestly, this is where clutter piles up the fastest and the quietest. There's so much in here that I don't even see anymore. And the first thing I'm pulling out is this striped shirt. It's been hanging here for over a year. Every time I do laundry, it ends up untouched. I don't hate it, I just never reach for it. And honestly, if I haven't worn it in the last 2 seasons, I probably never will. So this one's going in the donation pile. If you're standing near your closet, grab one thing. You always skip just one and see how it feels to let it go. This pair of pants, I really wanted them to work. I bought them on sale. They looked great in the fitting room, but they've never fit quite right at home. They're too tight in the waist, and I keep thinking, maybe in a few months, but it's been over a year and I'm tired of feeling bad every time I see them. So they're going. If you're holding on to something that makes you feel like you're not enough yet, maybe it's not worth the shelf space. Okay, this cardigan, it looks cute on the hanger, but it never sits right. The sleeves are always sliding down the front, never lays flat. I keep wearing it thinking I'll adjust it through the day, but honestly, I don't need clothes I have to manage like that. So today I'm saying goodbye. If there's something in your wardrobe that you're constantly fixing or fussing with, maybe it's time to let it go and find something that actually works with you. And then there's this polka dot blouse, still in good shape, but it's just not me anymore. It's a little too loud, too busy, and I don't feel good in it. I've kept it because it was expensive, and maybe I'll wear it somewhere, but that somewhere hasn't happened in 2 years. So I'm donating it. If you've got a piece that used to feel fun, but now just feels off, it's okay to thank it and move on. This basket of socks. Every few months, I tell myself I'm going to sort it, match them all up. But the truth is, some of these socks have no partners. Some are stretched out, some have holes at the heel, and yet they're still here, just taking up space. So today, I'm tossing the ones that are clearly done. If you've got a sock basket like this, maybe today's the day it finally gets cleared out. I found this old bra in the back of the drawer. The straps are twisted, the band's stretched, and the padding's gone all lumpy. It used to be a favorite, but it hasn't been comfortable for a long time. Honestly, I wouldn't even wear it to sleep now. So I'm letting it go. If there's underwear in your drawer that you'd skip every time, maybe it doesn't need to be there at all. This pair of underwear, I kept it because I told myself I'll sew that tiny hole. It's been 6 months, still not fixed, still sitting there. I think at this point I can admit if I haven't repaired it by now, I'm probably not going to. So I'm tossing it. If you've got little fix-it items that just sit there waiting, you're allowed to call it. You've done enough. This swimsuit, every summer I try it on hoping it'll feel better than last year. But it always cuts into my sides or rides up weird or just makes me want to throw on a t-shirt over it. And swimming should feel fun, not frustrating. So this year, I'm finally letting it go. If you've got a suit that makes you self-conscious the second you put it on, you deserve better. And then I've got these 2 black t-shirts. Same neckline, same fit, same everything. But I only ever wear one. The other just sits there folded, waiting, and never gets picked, so I'm donating the extra. If you've got duplicates that never actually get used, it's okay to just keep the favorite and pass the rest on. I just pulled out a big clump of wire hangers from the side of my closet. I don't even use them. They're flimsy and my shirts always slip off. I've just been keeping them just in case, but that case never comes. So I'm letting them go today. If you've got a pile of hangers you never reach for, it's okay to say, I don't need this many. I found a little hoodie my son used to wear last winter. There's a rip in the sleeve, a stain on the front, and it's definitely 2 sizes too small. but it reminds me of him at that age, messy hair, gap-toothed smile. Still, I'm keeping the photo, not the hoodie. If you're holding on to worn-out kid clothes for the memory, maybe a picture is enough. These old swim goggles have been floating around our bathroom drawer for months. They fog up instantly and the straps all stretched. No one in the house even wants to use them anymore, but somehow they just keep getting tossed back in. So today, I'm tossing them out. If you've got random gear you've mentally replaced already, maybe it's time to follow through. This hat's been sitting by the front door for ages. It's from some event we went to logo printed across the front. No one wears it. I don't even know why we brought it home. I think it was one of those freebies that felt useful for 10 seconds. But now it's just in the way, so it's going. Got any promo stuff lying around? You probably won't miss it. I've got 3 wallets in my drawer, but I only use one. The others are either too bulky broken zippers or just don't fit my cards anymore. Still, I kept thinking, maybe I'll switch them out. But months have passed and I haven't. So I'm letting go of the extras. If you've moved on from something but haven't actually let it go yet, maybe today's the day. There's this pair of flats I've kept way too long. They pinch my toes and the soles are starting to peel. I wore them to a wedding once and I think I've been keeping them for the memory, not because I actually wear them. But now they just make me feel guilty every time I open the shoe rack, so I'm letting them go. Shoes should carry you forward, not weigh you down. My youngest outgrew these sneakers months ago. I kept them because they were still in good shape. But good shape doesn't mean they still fit. Now they just sit there, taking up space, and I step over them every day. Someone else could actually use them while they still have life in them. So I'm donating them today. If your kids have outgrown something, that's all the reason you need to let it go. I just found 2 pairs of the same black sandals. One's a little newer, the other's more worn, but I only ever wear the newer ones. Still, I kept both just in case. But let's be honest, if you keep choosing one over the other every time you've already made your decision. So the backup pair's going. Duplicates sound helpful until they become clutter. In the bottom of the bin were 3 scarves I forgot I even had. One's unraveling, one's itchy, and one I haven't worn since my 20s. Same with gloves stretched out missing a match. They've been living in this closet for years without being touched. So today I'm clearing them out. Winter's hard enough, you don't need to start every cold day digging through stuff you don't wear. I started digging through the bathroom drawer this morning, and the first thing I found was an old face cream that expired last fall. I probably used it twice. The scent's a little off now, and the texture's changed, but I kept thinking, maybe I'll finish it eventually. Truth is, I won't. So it's going. If you've got any half-used bottles just sitting there aging, it's okay to let them go. Then I spotted a mascara tube that's completely dried out. I think I knew it was dry the last time I used it, but I still put it back in the drawer. It leaves little black flakes under my eyes, and I always end up wiping it off anyway. So what's the point? Out it goes. If your mascara is past its prime, your lashes and your eyes will thank you for letting it go. This old foundation bottle, it used to blend like a dream. Now it's thick, patchy, and weirdly orange. Every time I see it, I think I should toss that, and then I don't. But today, I finally did. Because honestly, using bad makeup just makes me feel worse. If there's something in your drawer that makes you cringe every time you try it, that's your sign. I bought this brush because it looked pretty, but it tugs at my hair, doesn't work with my texture, and honestly, it just lives here now. I keep reaching for my old brush, and this one just collects dust. So I'm donating it. If you've got tools that don't actually work for your hair, you don't need to keep them just because. I've got a handful of hair ties, but only 2 of them still have any stretch. The others are loose frayed and slip right off. I keep them out of habit, but they're basically useless now, so I'm tossing them today. And before I do, I'm snipping them so they don't end up tangled in some poor bird's beak. Small thing, but it feels good to clear them out. I don't know why, but we always seem to keep empty toothpaste tubes. This one's been squeezed flat for days. It's dry, crusty, and somehow still sitting in the toothbrush cup. I think we just forget about it, so I'm finally tossing it. If your bathroom has one of these hanging around, you can go ahead and thank it for its service, then let it go. This little sample bottle, I got it from a hotel months ago. I thought I'd throw it in a travel bag or use it for guests, but it's just sat here, never opened, never used. And if I'm being honest, I probably won't touch it. So I'm adding it to the donate pile. Women's shelters often take unused toiletries. Better, it goes somewhere useful than take up drawer space. I found 2 nail clippers, 3 tweezers, and a mystery eyelash curler I haven't touched in forever. Why do I have 3 of everything? I only use 1 pair of tweezers and it's always the same one. So today I'm clearing out the duplicates. If your drawer's full of backups that never get used, this is a good place to start. I really wanted to like this deodorant. It was a natural brand, came in pretty packaging, and smelled like lavender. But after a week of feeling sticky and uncomfortable, I went back to my regular one. And yet, I kept the old one. Not anymore. If you've got a product you keep wishing would work but never actually use, it's okay to let it go. This night guard, I got it a while back when I was grinding my teeth at night. But it never fit right. I tried it twice and it made my gums sore, so I went back to my old one. And now it's just been sitting in the cabinet in a case taking up space. It feels weird to toss something custom made, but it's not helping anyone sitting here. So it's time. This towel's been hanging around for way too long. It's thin, the edges are fraying, and there's a bleach spot right in the middle. It still works technically, but every time I use it, I feel a little annoyed, like I'm settling for something I wouldn't give to a guest. So today I'm retiring it. We've got a few solid towels we actually reach for. We don't need to keep the ragged ones just in case. If you've got a towel that makes you sigh every time you use it, that's reason enough to let it go. I found 3 extra sets of pillowcases shoved in the back of the linen shelf. They don't match any of our sheets, and I forgot we even had them. Then there's the faded fitted sheet I've been avoiding because the elastics all stretched out. We really only rotate between 2 full sets, one on the bed, one as backup. So why keep all the extras that just sit there? I'm letting them go today. If your linen closet feels stuffed, clearing out the just-in-case pieces might be all it takes to make it feel calm again. There's this little sunglasses case that's been sliding around in our bathroom drawer for months. The zipper sticks the logos peeling, and I don't even have the glasses it came with anymore. But for some reason, I've held on to it, maybe because it feels wasteful to toss something still technically usable. But the truth is, I've never used it again. So now it's going. Sometimes the smallest things create the most visual clutter. If something hasn't served a purpose in a long time, it's okay to free up the space. I bought this round brush because it looked nice and promised volume, but it's the wrong size for my hair and the bristles are too stiff, they just tug. Every time I try to use it, I end up switching back to my old one. Still, I've kept it for months thinking I'd find a way to make it work. But I'm done forcing it. If something doesn't feel right in your routine, even if it was a good buy, it's okay to say, this isn't for me. I was going through that pile of papers near the desk, the one I always mean to sort, and there they were, a bunch of old receipts. Some are so faded I can't even tell what they're from anymore. Grocery runs may be a return that never happened. Either way, they're not helping anyone now. So I'm shredding them. If your paper stack includes receipts from another season or year, it's probably safe to let them go. Tucked inside my wallet was a coupon that expired 6 months ago. It's wrinkled, barely readable, and for something I don't even buy. But I kept it because it felt useful. That's how paper clutter tricks us. Today, it's going in the bin. If your purse or file folder has coupons, just in case, go ahead and check the dates. You might be surprised how long they've been expired. Behind a row of books on our hallway shelf was an old wall calendar. I hadn't looked at it since I took it down. It still had little notes from last year. Birthdays, appointments, a few messy scribbles. I thought I might want to keep it, but I haven't missed it once. So I'm recycling it today. If you're hanging on to old planners or calendars, ask yourself, is it helping you remember or just taking up space? I found a bunch of sticky notes stuck to the side of a notebook. Reminders. Phone numbers, random lists, none of them mean anything to me now. One of them literally just says double check tos. No idea what that was for. So I'm letting them go. Mental clarity starts with physical clarity, even in the little things. If your notes no longer speak to you, it's okay to clear them. I opened a folder labeled school stuff and found spelling tests from 2nd grade. My son's in 5th now. They were cute, but they weren't special. We already have pictures and a memory box for the really sweet stuff, so I recycled the stack and kept just one. If your kids' papers are piling up, try this pick one that makes you smile and give yourself permission to toss the rest. I found a stack of school forms from last semester lunch schedules, field trip reminders, some sign-up sheets for things that already happened. They made sense at the time, but now just more paper in the way. So I'm recycling the whole stack. If you've got folders full of old school papers that no one needs anymore, clearing them out might give your brain a little extra space too. There were flyers stuck between the mail I hadn't opened yet, local yoga studios, a pizza coupon, something about gutter cleaning. I didn't ask for any of them, and yet they made it into my home. That's how clutter starts, little things we didn't invite but didn't say no to either. So I'm tossing them now. If there's a pile of flyers on your counter or desk, maybe today's the day to sweep them all away. Tucked inside my wallet was an old gym membership card. I haven't gone there in years. We moved towns and I didn't even like that gym much. But somehow, the card stayed. I think I kept it out of habit. Not anymore. Out it goes. If your wallet or keychain is holding on to expired cards, just in case you're allowed to clear the clutter and the weight from your pocket. There's a tiny stack of business cards in my drawer from people I barely remember meeting. Some from events, some just handed to me quickly in passing. I haven't looked them up, haven't called. They've just been sitting here untouched for months. So today I'm letting them go. If a card doesn't remind you of a real connection or something you truly need, it's okay to say goodbye. I opened a bin labeled manuals and realized I was still keeping the guide for a blender we gave away 2 years ago. Same with an old fan, a DVD player, and even a rice cooker we no longer own. Somehow I thought I might need them again. But I won't. So I'm recycling the whole stack. If your home has a drawer of paper for things you don't even own anymore, that space can definitely be reclaimed. Alright, now I'm heading into the kitchen. This is one of those spots that looks fine at first glance, until you open a cabinet. Then suddenly, you realize how much stuff is just sitting there unused. I reached into the spice cabinet and found a little jar with nothing but dried flakes stuck to the bottom. The label's half faded and it rattles more than it pours. I think I kept it because there's still a little left, but I never use it, so it's going in the trash. Sometimes we keep things just because we can, even if they stopped being useful a long time ago. There's a tin of chai tea I bought on impulse. It sounded cozy, but every time I brew it, I end up dumping it out. Same with a jar of fancy cinnamon that tastes weirdly smoky. I kept them because they were nice, but I don't actually enjoy them, so I'm clearing them out today. Your kitchen should hold what you love, not things you feel guilty for disliking. In the back of the pantry was a box of crackers I forgot about. Expiration date 9 months ago. There's also an old can of soup I'm honestly scared to open. I used to think it's not hurting anyone, just sitting there. But now I see it's taking up space. I could use for food I'll actually eat. So I'm tossing the expired stuff. It's not waste, it's a reset. One of my mugs has a chip right on the rim. It's small but sharp, and every time I pick it up, I think I should get rid of this. Today I finally did. I have plenty of mugs that don't poke my lip. So this one's going. If you're holding on to something damaged out of habit, maybe today's the day you choose comfort instead. This souvenir mug has been sitting in the back of the cupboard for 2 years. It's from a trip I barely remember and I've never actually used it. It's bulky, the handle's awkward, and it doesn't fit with the others. I kept it because it's cute, but I don't love it and I don't need it, so I'm donating it. If a cup's just taking up space, it might be time to let it go to someone who'll actually enjoy it. I had this little green glass bottle tucked behind the spices. It's beautiful, kind of vintage looking, and I always thought I'll use it for something, but I never did. It's been sitting there for 2 years, collecting dust. I kept it because it felt too pretty to toss, but it's never served a real purpose. So I'm letting it go today. If you've got a jar or bottle that you've been meaning to use, maybe it's just taking up space for something you'll actually reach for. This plastic bottle came with some fancy syrup. I cleaned it out and thought, oh, this could be useful someday. But I've said that about 5 different bottles and they're all still sitting here empty. I don't need a collection of containers I never use, so today I'm recycling them. If your cabinets are full of jars, tins, or bottles you're keeping just in case, take a second to ask, have you ever actually used them again? I bought this mini blender thinking it'd be perfect for smoothies, but it barely holds anything, the lid leaks, and it's a pain to clean. I've used it maybe twice, and both times I ended up pouring everything into the big blender anyway. So today, I'm letting it go. Just because something looks like it'll make life easier doesn't mean it actually does. If a small appliance creates more mess than it solves, it's probably not worth keeping. Somehow we ended up with 2 baking trays the exact same size, but we only ever use one. The other lives in the bottom drawer, always in the way. Same with spatulas, measuring cups, mixing bowls. Duplicates that just crowd the space. Today, I'm picking the ones we reach for and donating the extras. If you've got 2 of the same thing and one always gets passed over, that's the one to let go. We recently upgraded our kettle. The old one was slow and started rusting, but instead of tossing it, I set it aside, just in case. That was 6 months ago. It's still here unused, taking up shelf space. I realized I was keeping it out of guilt, not usefulness. So now I'm letting it go. If you've replaced something and the old version is just lingering, maybe today's the day to thank it and move on. There's a little drawer in our kitchen that always ends up full of random sauce packets, soy sauce, ketchup, mustard. Most of them are from takeout orders we barely remember. And honestly, we never use them. They leak, get sticky, and make the drawer feel gross. So I'm tossing them all today. If you've got a sauce stash just in case, ask yourself, are you actually using them or just moving them around every time you clean? I thrifted this cute bundt pan years ago. It has all these fancy grooves and patterns and it looks adorable, in theory, but it's nearly impossible to clean, and the few times I used it, the cake stuck. Every time I bake, I reach for the regular pan. So today, the bundt pan's going. If you've got a tool that makes cooking harder, even if it's cute, it's okay to admit it's not worth the hassle. We have 4 water bottles, but only 2 ever get used. This one's heavy, awkward to open, and doesn't fit in the car cup holder. I kept it because it was expensive. But every time I try to use it, I end up switching back to my favorite. So it's time to let it go. If something in your kitchen feels more like an obligation than a help, you don't have to keep it out of guilt. I found 3 food containers without lids. They've been hiding in the back of the cabinet waiting for their matches, but I think the matches are long gone. I've tried using them as snack bowls, but honestly, they just take up space. So I'm letting them go today. If your container cabinet is a puzzle you never solve, this is your reminder. No lid, no use. I found a stack of random lids with no matching containers. They've somehow survived multiple rounds of decluttering just hanging out in the back of the drawer. I kept thinking I'd find their matches someday, but I never do. So today they're going. If you've got a pile of lids with no bottoms or bottoms with no lids, maybe it's time to let the mystery go and make room for what you actually use. I have a small bag of batteries in the junk drawer, most of them probably dead, but I always hesitate to toss them because I think, what if some still work, so I never test them? I just keep them. Today, I'm tossing the ones that are obviously corroded and recycling the rest properly. If you've got a pile of maybe still good batteries, it's okay to let them go and stop wondering every time you open that drawer. There's this tiny baking tray that came with the rental. It barely holds anything, not even 1 full serving of veggies. Every time I try to use it, I end up frustrated and pull out the big tray anyway. So I'm done pretending it's useful. It's going. If something in your kitchen just doesn't fit your life or family size anymore, you don't have to keep trying to make it work. This waffle maker looks great on the shelf, but I've used it once. It makes 1 tiny waffle at a time and takes forever to clean. I thought it'd be fun, but it's more trouble than it's worth. Now it just takes up space. So I'm letting it go. If you've got a one-purpose gadget you wish you used but never do, that's your answer right there. Now I'm moving into the living room and starting with the couch. This throw pillow used to be fluffy and supportive. Now it's flat as a pancake. Every time I fluff it, it just falls back down. I don't lean on it. I don't even like how it looks anymore. So it's time to say goodbye. If you've got pillows that are more decorative than useful, or honestly not even decorative anymore, it's okay to refresh and let a few go. I pulled out this old blanket we keep draped over the armchair. It used to be soft. Now it's stretched out thin and kind of scratchy. No one really uses it. We all grab the newer one. But I kept this one because it still works. Today, I'm donating it or cutting it into rags. If something in your home used to be cozy but now just feels tired, it might be ready for a second life somewhere else. There's a little wall shelf I decorated when we first moved in. It's full of tiny objects I used to love, but now they just feel off, dusty, visually heavy. I realized I don't even see them anymore, so I cleared it. Now the space feels lighter, calmer. If you've got decor that doesn't reflect you anymore, it's okay to update it. You're allowed to change. We have a painting in the hallway that I always walk past without really liking. It's bold, colorful, kind of chaotic, and I used to think that made it cool. But now it just makes the whole hallway feel loud, so I'm taking it down and replacing it with something quieter. Your walls should make you feel calm when you look at them, not overstimulated. This book's been sitting on our shelf for 3 years. I bought it because everyone was reading it, but I've never gotten past chapter 2. And honestly, I don't want to. It doesn't make me feel excited or curious. It just stares at me with guilt. So I'm donating it. If you've got unread books that feel more like pressure than pleasure, they're probably ready to go to someone else. I opened the media drawer and found a stack of old DVDs we haven't watched in years. Some are scratched, a few don't even have cases. We don't even own a DVD player anymore, just streaming everything now. But I kept them because they used to be worth something. Today, I'm letting them go. If there's tech in your home that no longer fits how you live, you're allowed to say thanks for the memories and move on. There's a board game with half the pieces missing. We've kept it in the closet thinking maybe we'll find the rest. But that was 2 years ago. Now it's just a box full of frustration and no one's touched it since. So I'm tossing it today. If a game can't even be played properly, it's not really serving anyone. Sometimes clearing space means letting go of almosts. We also have a stack of games the kids have outgrown. They were fun a few years ago, but now they just collect dust. They've moved on, and I'm still storing puzzles no one touches. So I'm packing up the ones we've outgrown and donating them. If your shelves are holding games for a version of your family that doesn't exist anymore, it's okay to let them move on too. This drawer had an old handheld vacuum that hasn't worked since last year. I've been meaning to look into fixing it, but never have. Honestly, I've already replaced it. But the broken one is still here, taking up space. So I'm letting it go now. If you've got electronics sitting around broken and ignored, maybe today's the day you stop giving them space. I pulled out a ball of tangled charging cords, and I have no idea what half of them go to. Old phones, a camera from 2010. Maybe something we don't even own anymore, but I've been keeping them just in case. Today I'm untangling and tossing what I can't identify. If you've got a drawer of mystery tech, you're not alone and you can let it go. There's a candle on my shelf that I used to love, but now the scent gives me a headache. It's half burned, dusty around the rim, and I haven't lit it in over a year, but I kept it because it looked nice. Today I'm letting it go. Scent is emotional. If something no longer brings peace or comfort, it doesn't need to stay in your space. I found a little craft project I started months ago, some embroidery I was going to hang in the hallway. It's half done, still in the hoop, with the needle stuck right where I left it. I thought I'd finish it one day, but that day never came. Now it just feels like a chore waiting in the drawer. So I'm letting it go. If you've got unfinished projects that don't spark anything anymore, permission granted to stop carrying them around. This exercise bike was a big purchase. I used it for the first month and then slowly stopped. Now it's a towel rack. It takes up a whole corner, and every time I look at it, I feel a little guilty. But guilt isn't a reason to keep something, so I'm selling it. If your home has a piece of equipment that makes you feel worse, not better, that's your sign it might be time to let it go. Right by the front door, there's a little bag with something I meant to return. It's been there for weeks. Okay, maybe months. I kept telling myself I'd take care of it this weekend. Now the return window has passed and I'm still stepping over it, so I'm finally donating it. If you've got something sitting by the door waiting to be returned, maybe the real return is the space you get back when you stop avoiding it. I pulled out a pair of gloves from the coat bin and they've got a hole right through the fingertip. Not the cute kind of hole, the kind where cold air sneaks in. I kept them just in case, but honestly, I don't even like wearing them anymore, so I'm tossing them. Sometimes we hold on to things because they're already broken, and we think that means they don't deserve more attention. But even small things deserve to be replaced when they stop working. We had 3 baseball caps hanging by the door and only one ever gets worn. The others are promotional ones from events or giveaways. They don't fit right, we don't reach for them. But they've been sitting there out of habit. So today I'm donating the extras. Your entryway should make coming and going feel easy, not cluttered with maybe someday items. These shoes used to be my go-to pair, but now the soles are worn down, the back's rubbed raw, and every time I wear them, I regret it. Still, I kept putting them back on the rack like they deserved to stay. Today, I'm tossing them. Just because something was once a favorite doesn't mean it still earns space in your daily life. There's a tote bag we used to keep in the car for groceries. Now it's stained fraying at the seams and hasn't been used in months. I keep better bags in the trunk now. This one's just been living by the front door collecting junk, so I'm letting it go. If something once had a purpose but hasn't served you in a while, it's okay to retire it without guilt. I found a receipt for something I meant to return weeks ago. The item's still in the bag tags on sitting quietly by the door, but the return window closed 2 paychecks ago. Now it just feels like a small pile of guilt. So I'm donating it. Lesson learned, if it didn't feel right when I bought it, it's probably not something I'll use later either. No shame, just space reclaimed. Next to the coat hooks, I found an old tote bag with a bunch of random cards in the pocket. Store punch cards, expired rewards, a loyalty tag from a pharmacy I haven't been to in years. They were tucked in like I might grab them on the way out, but I never do. So I'm tossing the whole stack. If your entryway has bags or pockets holding just-in-case cards you never touch, clearing them out can feel surprisingly satisfying. Right by the shoe bench, there was a little box with something I meant to return months ago. It came damaged, cracked right out of the packaging. I meant to report it, but life got busy, and I just let it sit. Now it's past the point of doing anything about it, so I'm letting it go. If you've got something broken sitting by the door, like a silent reminder, maybe it's time to forgive the missed errand and move on. This box by the door, it's been sitting here for weeks, packed and labeled, ready to return, but life got busy. And then I stopped seeing it. Now, I don't even remember what's inside. Today I opened it. The item's still fine, but I missed the deadline, so I'm donating it and clearing the box. If you've got a return pile that turned into furniture, maybe today's the day to set it free. Alright, now I'm stepping out to the car. It's not technically inside the house, but it carries just as much daily clutter, maybe more. Most of the time, we're just trying to get somewhere, so little messes pile up fast. Today I'm taking 10 minutes to clear it out, and honestly, that's all it takes to make a difference. I opened the center console and pulled out a handful of Wrapper's gum mints, a granola bar from who knows when. There were also crumpled napkins and 2 receipts I can't even read anymore. It's not that I meant to make a mess. I just never stopped to clear it. So today I'm tossing it all. If your car has become a second junk drawer, even a 5-minute sweep can make it feel like a fresh start. Behind the seat, I found a pair of anti-nausea glasses I bought for road trips. They were supposed to help with motion sickness, but they didn't work. Still, I held on to them thinking maybe they'd be useful next time, but they've been collecting dust for over a year now, so I'm passing them along. Just because something seemed useful doesn't mean it earns permanent space in your life or your car. Under the passenger seat was a toy car my son hasn't touched in months. Actually, he forgot it was even there. It was probably dropped, kicked around, and now it's just rolling around getting grimy. So I'm bringing it back inside or donating it. Our cars shouldn't be graveyards for forgotten toys. A quick check under the seats might surprise you. There's a cup holder in the back that's been slowly filling up with candy wrappers and empty bottles. It's not gross, but it's not great either. I think I just stopped seeing it. Today I emptied it out and wiped it down. Honestly, it took 2 minutes. If your car has corners that collect invisible mess, this is your reminder. Out of sight doesn't have to mean out of mind. There were 3 folded flyers stuffed into the side pocket of the door, all from parking lots. One for a local event, one for a repair shop, and one I didn't even open. I don't need any of them, but I left them there like maybe they'd be important later. Today, they're going in the trash. If your car doors have turned into flyer holders, now's a good time to clear them out. I bought this little organizer tray to keep the console neat, but honestly, it doesn't fit quite right and it slides around every time I hit a turn. I thought it would help, but I never actually use it, so I'm taking it out. Not every solution works in real life, and that's okay. If something you bought to get organized is just adding frustration, you're allowed to let it go. Okay, now I'm heading down to the garage, or the basement, or whatever space you've got that holds all the I'll deal with it later stuff. Let's take a look. Now I'm heading down to the basement or the garage, depending on your setup. This is where stuff tends to land when we don't quite know what to do with it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But the truth is, the weight of clutter doesn't go away just because we can't see it. So today I'm opening a few boxes and seeing what's really worth keeping. There's a pile of gift boxes I saved from the holidays. Pretty print, sturdy shapes I told myself they'd be useful next year. But next year came and went, and they're still sitting here. Some are bent, others are oddly sized. So I'm flattening the ones that aren't worth keeping and recycling them. It's okay to keep a few, but not at the cost of a whole shelf. Right next to those boxes is a whole stash of bubble wrap and plastic mailers. I saved them from deliveries thinking I'd reuse them, but I never do. Now they're spilling out of a bag and making it hard to find anything. So today I'm tossing the damaged ones and keeping just a few. If your reuse pile has become a storage problem, you're allowed to scale it back. I spotted an old pair of rollerblades and a tennis racket behind the shelving unit. We haven't used either in years. They were part of a phase fund while it lasted, but long since over. Now they're just in the way, so I'm donating them. If a sport or hobby no longer fits your season of life, it's okay to say goodbye to the gear too. There's a tiny scooter in the corner my son used to ride it everywhere, but now his knees bump the handlebars and he's onto bigger things. Still, I kept it just in case, even though it doesn't fit anyone in the house anymore. So today it's being passed on. If your garage holds items your kids have clearly outgrown, that space could serve your current life better. Propped against the wall was a broken folding chair I meant to fix. One of the legs is bent, the fabric's worn out. I kept it because it's almost okay, but I've had it for over a year, untouched, so I'm letting it go. There's a difference between repairable and realistically going to be repaired. Sometimes the honest answer feels like freedom. I picked up the old welcome mat near the back door. It's cracked, dirty, and the print's worn off. I keep stepping over it like it's still useful, but it doesn't even stay flat anymore. So I'm tossing it today. Replacing it costs less than the energy I've spent ignoring it. If something greets you every day and makes you cringe a little, that's reason enough to move on. In the bottom of a storage bin, I found a set of winter scarves that smelled musty. Turns out a bit of moisture had gotten in, and now there's mold around the edges. They're not salvageable. I felt guilty for not checking sooner, but guilt doesn't make them wearable again. So they're going. If something's been damaged beyond repair, hanging onto it won't undo the damage. It's okay to forgive the mistake and toss it. I found a box of old string lights from 2 Christmases ago. I remember one strand stopped working, but I kept it anyway, thinking maybe I'd fix it or use it for something else. But it's still tangled, still half dead, and still taking up space. So I'm tossing it. If a light doesn't light up and hasn't in a long time, maybe it's time to let it go and make room for something that does work. In one of the bins, I pulled out a little wooden crate I saved for a project. I thought I'd paint it, or use it for organizing, or maybe turn it into some kind of shelf. That was over a year ago. It's just been sitting there full of potential and completely unused. So I'm letting it go. If you've been saving something for a project that never happened, that's okay. You can let go without finishing it first. Tucked behind a pile of boxes, I found this metal piece I think came from an old shelf. or maybe a folding table. I'm honestly not sure. No one in the house recognized it, and we haven't missed it. It's just been sitting there, waiting for someone to remember what it was for. That day hasn't come and probably won't, so I'm tossing it. If something's been around so long you've forgotten what it even does, it's safe to say you don't need it. Alright, that's it for today. I know this wasn't a perfect, dramatic before and after, but hopefully it gave you a few moments of clarity and maybe even a little permission to let something go. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about stuff. It's about space in your home, your schedule, your mind. And every little decision to release something makes room for more peace, more ease, more you. Next time, we're going to look at the sneaky clutter, the kind you stop noticing because it's always there. Little things that make your space feel messier than it actually is. So if you're ready to clear out what's hiding in plain sight, I'll meet you there. Thanks for spending this time with me. Let me know in the comments what you cleared out today, or even just what you noticed for the first time. And if this video helped you feel a little lighter, consider giving it a like, sharing it with someone who might need it, or subscribing so we can keep clearing space together. You're doing great!